Perfectionism can really stop us in our tracks. Here's a video on how to make progress instead. When working on the perfectionist in us or our perfectionist tendencies, it really helps to understand that perfectionism is a strategy. So what do I mean by a strategy? It's a sequence of thoughts and feelings going on in the mind that run from beginning to end that your mind has created on autopilot to just run because at some point it was useful. So what makes perfectionism useful? Usually this goes back to our experiences in the classroom. Those moments when the teacher says to us, asks us a question or says to us, do we know the answer? And we don't. And so we're sitting there thinking, okay, I can see there's other kids in the class. You know that really annoying kid who's always like, ooh, 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 I know the answer. So we can see the other kids in the class and we're thinking, they know the answer. There's a right answer out there, but I don't know it. And there's that sense of real fear because in the moment, unless we know the answer, we're going to face social exclusion, we're going to face ridicule. And so we create this strategy to save ourselves from that. And often that's where our perfectionism stems from. This idea that there is a right or there is a perfect, but we just don't know it. And so we're wanting to protect ourselves from being rejected, from being ridiculed, from being laughed at. And so if we tell ourselves, oh, just a little bit longer, like let me just tweak this, let me just make it perfect. We're back in the classroom thinking we're going to get it wrong. We're going to get laughed at. We're going to get told off. And so that's where the strategy comes from. It's a beautiful strategy of self-defense. So ironically, when we come into that stressful place of getting stuck with being a perfectionist, the strategy is actually working perfectly. So it's so ironic because we're sitting here thinking, oh, I don't want to submit my work yet because it's not perfect. And yet the reason that we're in this perfectionist strategy is because the strategy is working perfectly. So how do we break the loop? For me, this is such a powerful area to work. And I really love doing work with freelancers, with creative professionals in this area, because it means that they get totally free to have the life, to have the career that they dream of. If you like the idea of that and you are new on this channel, then this is going to be the right place for you. Hit subscribe and follow along. 2 videos every week that are going to enable you to achieve your creative potential. That's my mission here. So the first thing that we need to do is to be grateful for the strategy. Because what can start to happen is if we start to try to make transformation in our mind without being grateful for what's already going on in there, the mind goes on red alert. The mind is like, wait a second, there's somebody trying to come in here and mess with things that have been working really, really well. I don't trust that kind of behavior. So we want to let our thoughts know that we're super grateful for having been a perfectionist for all of this time, but we can take it from here. We've got it. So the next thing to do is to form a new strategy. Now, sometimes it can be really useful to go back to that classroom analogy to understand, well, what would a new strategy look like if I am having these perfectionist tendencies? Is if I'm trying to get everything perfect before sending it out, if I'm trying to get an idea absolutely thought through before acting on it. So if we imagine I'm back in the classroom and the teacher says to me, this is the question, and they ask me for the answer. So a brilliant strategy would be to understand that even though I don't know the answer right now, even though maybe I think I might have the answer, but I'm not sure, I could actually say to the teacher something that is honest, something that is perhaps considered vulnerable, but it's going to lead me into a better place. So I might say to the teacher, do you know what? I actually don't know that answer, but why don't you tell me a book that I can go and read that's going to then enable me to have the answer. Or I can say to the teacher, I'm not sure if this is the right answer. Say them say to them the answer. And then again, if it's wrong, I can then say to them, oh, can you point me in the right direction of how I can find out what the answer is? So with those examples, what you're seeing is that by letting go of the strategy and inviting in a new strategy, we're teaching ourselves that it's okay to not know in the moment, but we can actually make learning something that's available to us, and we can learn to improve. So we understand that we don't have to be perfect. Like right now, I don't have to be perfect at all that I do. I don't have to be a perfect coach for writers. I don't have to have a perfect program for writers. I simply have to understand that what's important is doing my best and continuing to learn, continuing to grow my knowledge. And so here is where we shift from being a perfectionist into a learner, and then we shift from being a learner into an expert. If we're always trying to be a perfectionist, we're never enabling ourselves to learn more, and then we are denying ourselves the chance of being an expert in whatever field that we want to be an expert. So that new strategy is about saying to yourself, okay, right now, I think I could do better, but I'm not really sure how, so how can I find out how to do better? Or right now, there's something I don't know, but rather than being a perfectionist about it, I'm going to put my hand up and say, I don't really know. Where can I go and find out? How can I grow my skill set? So that's the new strategy, to understand that your knowledge can grow, that you can get better. It doesn't all have to be perfect in the moment. And then suddenly we're making progress once more. If you need support while you make your progress, if you need support to be accountable, come and join the community on Facebook. I'm there live every week, offering tips, offering advice, offering live videos. It's free to join, and we would love to have you. So come find us. The link is below this video. I'm wishing you all the best from making that shift from perfectionist into learner, and then enabling yourself to become an expert. Hope this one was useful for you. I'll see you next Monday. Take care till then.